Let's move on to item number 11. What figure describes the graph of 3x minus 4y equals 0? Is it a horizontal line, a vertical line, a straight line that rises to the right, or a straight line that falls to the right? Which of these? So to do such, we may want to find the slope of this. So subtracting both sides by 3x, we have negative 4y equals negative 3x. And dividing both sides by negative 4, we have y equals 3/4 x. And this tells us this is now the slope-intercept form. And we could see here that the slope, which is 3/4, is positive. Hence, it's greater than 0. And since your slope is positive, then it is an indication that the graph of such is a straight line that rises to the right. Hence, it is letter C. Note that if the slope is negative, it's falling to the right. If it's 0, it's horizontal. And if it is undefined, then it is vertical. Okay? So let's have item number 12. Find the acute angle between the lines y equals x minus 1 and y equals 2/3 x plus 1. Is it arctangent of 1/5, of 3/4, of 5, or 1/2? What do you think is the correct answer here? So, recalling our analytic geometry, to get the tangent between two lines given their slopes, we could recall the formula tangent theta equals the absolute value of the quantity m sub 1 minus m sub 2 all over 1 plus m sub 1 times m sub 2. And if we get the tangent inverse or the arctangent of both sides, the arctangent of tangent theta is theta, which is equal now to the tangent inverse or the arctangent of the right-hand side, where m sub 1 and m sub 2 are the slopes of your two lines. Okay? They are distinct slopes of your two lines. And with such, for y equals x minus 1, the slope here is 1. And for y equals 2/3 x plus 1, the slope here is 2/3. Okay? So with such, theta is equal to tangent inverse of 1 minus 2/3 all over 1 plus 1 times 2/3. 1 minus 2/3 is simplified to 1/3. 1 plus 2/3, this is 2/3 here. 1 plus 2/3 becomes 3/3 plus 2/3 or 5/3. That's why your denominator here simplifies to 5/3. And 1/3 divided by 5/3 is 1/5. Therefore, the value of your angle theta is a tangent inverse of 1/5 or arctangent of 1/5. And that is letter A. I hope you got it correctly. Number 13. The points 1, 3, 4, 9, and 5y are collinear. What must be the value of y? So remember this. Should y be 4, 5.5, 8 1/3, or 11? When are 3 points collinear? 3 points are collinear. If you pick any two of them, then they should have equal slopes. That's why if you pick any 2 points, I'm expecting that their slopes are the same. And the formula for slope of 2 points is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. If I picked the first 2 points, so I have here, let's say this is x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. By substitution, that becomes 9 minus 3 all over 4 minus 1. For the second scenario, in the right-hand side, I picked 4, 9, and 5y. 4, 9 now is my x sub 1, y sub 1, and 5y is my x sub 2, y sub 2. By substitution, that becomes y minus 9 all over 5 minus 4. But how come I set them as equal? It is because, as what I mentioned earlier, any 2 points on a line have equal slopes. So with such, the left-hand side simplifies to 6/3. The right-hand side simplifies to y minus 9 all over 1. And by the 6/3 simplifies to 2, right? This one. And I just copied the y minus 9 over 1 and simplified it as y minus 9. Adding both sides by 9, you get y equals 11. Hence, letter D is the correct answer. All right. Number 14. The group who used the sexagesimal system or the base 60 that we are using up to now, is it the Akkadians, Hittites, Babylonians, or the Egyptians? And the answer here is, it's not the Akkadians. They invented the abacus as a tool for counting. The Hittites are actually one of the first civilization to make iron into weapons and armor. The correct answer here is the Babylonians. When we say sexagesimal system, it's base 60, like your clocks, our modern day clocks. We have an hour is 60 minutes. A minute is 60 seconds. That is actually one of the influences of the Babylonians. And the Egyptians were the first to develop and solve quadratic equations. If you answered C, congratulations, you got it right. Number 15, the numeration system that makes use of letters in the English alphabet. Is it the Egyptians, decimal, Roman, or Chinese? It's not the Egyptians. The Egyptians made use of base 10 systems of hieroglyphs for numerals. Decimal means it's a base 10 system, like in our case, we are using 10 digits, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for our numbers or for numerals. It's in fact the Roman system, like your I is for 1, the V is for 5, the X is for 10, and so on. And you could actually see some Chinese numerals if you, like in your mahjong, no? In your mahjong tiles, I believe, in your mahjong. Yeah, the characters then. Some of them are in Chinese. Letter C is the correct answer. Number 16. What is the probability of having all heads in 4 tosses of a fair coin? Is it 1/16, 1/8, 1/4, or 3/25? Now, if you could see here, each toss is actually independent of one another. And the probability of having a first toss is 1/2. Why 1/2? Because there are only 2 outcomes, head or tail, and head is just one of the 2. So the probability that the first toss is a head is 1/2. The probability that the second, third, and fourth tosses are also 1/2 each. And we have to multiply all of them. Hence, the probability that all heads will come up will be 1/16, and that is letter A. Well, I hope you got it correctly. Number 17. A, B, C, D, and E are consecutive positive even numbers. If the mean of D is 49, if the mean of D and E is 49, what is A? Is it 40, 42, 44, or 46? Now, from here, since we are talking about even numbers, let's say I would like to represent x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6, and x plus 8 as the values of A, B, C, D, and E respectively. They differ by 2 because they are consecutive even. And the problem states that the mean of D and E is 49. So when we speak about mean, you get their sum divided by the number of scores. So I get x plus 6 plus x plus 8 and divided by 2 because there are just 2 numbers involved or 2 expressions involved. and equate that with 49. The x plus 6 and x plus 8, so x plus x will be 2x, 6 plus 8 will be plus 14, and multiplying both sides by 2, 2 times 49 will be 98. That's the reason how come I have 2x plus 14 equals 98. Subtracting both sides by 14, we have 2x equals 84. And dividing both sides by 2, we have x equals 42. Hence, the smallest number here, which is x, is 42. And that is letter B. Okay, so far, so good. Number 18. In a right triangle ABC with angle B equals 90 degrees, sine A equals 4/7. What is cosine A? Is it 3/7, 2 square root of 10 over 3, 2 square root of 10 over 7, or 3 square root of 10 over 7? To do such, it's important to visualize the figure. Sine A equals 4/7, and B here. So let's say we have here ABC with right angle B. This is acute angle A, which is 4/7. How come I make it like this? Remember, sine A is 4/7, and sine is defined as the ratio of the opposite and the hypotenuse. That's why, so opposite is 4. That's why opposite side of A is 4. And the hypotenuse has measure of 7. By the Pythagorean theorem, we could actually find the length of segment BA. That is, BA is equal to the square root of your 7 squared minus 4 squared. I just did it directly. And 7 squared is 49, 4 squared is 16, and 49 minus 16 is 33. So the length of BA is square root of 33. We can no longer simplify this, right? Because it has no other perfect square factors except 1. So this is square root of 33. And remember that cosine is defined as the ratio of the adjacent of the length of the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. So the adjacent side here is square root of 33 and the hypotenuse is 7. That's why the correct answer is letter E. It's not one of the choices. Remember, in the instruction is, if the correct answer is not found in the choices, you have to write E. So E is the correct answer here, which because it's not one of the choices. Okay, let's proceed with number 19. In right triangle KIM with right angle I, tangent K equals 3/4. What is sine 2K? Is it 24/25, 16/9, 9/16, or 6/5? If you are going to draw that, tangent K is 3/4. So tangent is defined as the ratio. If you have an acute angle, it's the ratio of the opposite over the adjacent. That's why if I have here my angle K, opposite is 3 and the adjacent is 4. By the Pythagorean theorem, but before that, we are looking for sine 2K, right? By the Pythagorean theorem, the measure of MK is the square root of the 3 squared plus 4 squared, because the length of the hypotenuse is the square root of the sum of the squares of the two legs. So that's why we have here square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. 3 squared is 9 plus 16. That's 25. And that the square root of 25, the principal square root is 5. That's why MK is 5 units long. And we could see from here that sine K is 3/5. Why 3/5? If this is K or K, remember that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that's 3 opposite, 3 over 5 hypotenuse. So sine K is 3/5. And cosine K, K, adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have adjacent 4 over 5 as our hypotenuse. And why do I need the values of sine K and cosine K? Because we have to recall the identity for double angle. That is, in this case, sine 2k is equal to 2 sine k times cosine of k. And by substitution, sine 2k is equal to 2 times 3/5 times 4/5, which simplifies to 24 over 25. Hence, sine 2k is 24/25. And if you answered A, congratulations, you got it right. Number 20. An ant is 40 meters away from the building. If the angle of elevation of an ant to the top of the building is 70 degrees, which of these expressions represent the height of the building? Neglect the ant's height. So is it 40 sine 70 degrees, 40 cosine 70 degrees, 40 over tangent 70 degrees, or 40 tangent 70 degrees? So to do this, it's important that we know the illustration. So let's say the height is here. Let's say the ant is here. And his angle of elevation, meaning to say from him, from the horizontal to the height, let's say this is the building. It's 70 degrees. This is 70 degrees. He is 40 meters away, right? So that's why I have here the 40 from the foot of the building. And we don't know the height of this building, but we have this as x. And we have to ask ourselves, what function do I need to use, considering that my theta 70 degrees is here? We could see that x is opposite of your 70 degrees, and your 40 here is adjacent of your 70 degrees. And what function links opposite and hypotenuse? Sorry, opposite and adjacent? That would be tangent. Hence, we should utilize tangent. That is, tangent 70 degrees equals x over opposite, which is x, over 40, which is adjacent. So with such, multiplying both sides by 40 to clear off fractions and to solve for x, so we have 40 tangent 70 degrees equals x, and that is letter D. I hope you got letter D. All right.